Hey everyone, welcome back. Brett Bolzenthal with eXp Realty. Once again, continuing on our Tour of Lenders episodes. And here we are with episode 3. Once again, visiting with Kris Peterson of Nicolet National Bank. So Kris, welcome back.
Thank you, sir. Glad to be back.
Thank you. Well, today we want to talk to you about just a few more Q&A questions here that we think will be helpful to the consumers as we carry our tour out. And one of the first things we wanted to discuss is ARM loans. What is some of the advantages and disadvantages of doing an ARM? And in your professional opinion, are they risky?
Well, just in case you don't know, ARM stands for Adjustable Rate Mortgage. So at some point that ARM has the availability to change rates on you. So some of the advantages and disadvantages. Advantages are they're going to be a little bit lower rate. They are locked for a short amount of time on the interest rate that you choose, but the payment is calculated over a longer term. So that is an advantage, but I don't normally recommend an ARM unless the customer is really dead set on getting one, or if you can say that, you know, like your company moves you every 2 years, so maybe to do a 3-year ARM, or every 4 years they move you to do a 5-year ARM, something like that. Because generally the way they work is it's like 2% per year that they can change after that initial lock period, up to a maximum of say 5 or 6%. So if you start at 5%, you could end up at 11% if the rates skyrocket and you don't refinance or pay that loan off. So I don't recommend it unless there's really a reason for it.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. Appreciate that. Now, Nicolet National Bank, when they're going about their mortgage home loans process and initial application, do they need to come in and see you to do the online app or do an application, or can they do an online application with you, Kris?
They could do either. You know, we do have an online application if the customer doesn't have time to come into the branch, or, you know, maybe they aren't located next to one of our branches if they're a little further away and don't want to make that drive. They can easily do an online application. And then we would, as the loan officer, would contact them afterwards and go through the application, kind of clean it up if need be. My preference is to meet the client if at all possible, because it's easier to find out what the client's needs are when they're in front of you than them doing an application online and not knowing all the questions that I need to know to help them the best that I can.
That makes a lot of sense, and like we talked about in the previous episode, you guys have a lot of different options available, and you're really trying to find out what's going to be in the best needs for your client. Makes a lot of sense that way, where you can't really do that without necessarily seeing them face to face.
Right.
Yeah. And then Nicolet National Bank, obviously the lobbies close at 5 o'clock Monday through Friday. Are they able to reach you after hours or on weekends by chance, Kris?
They are able to. My cell phone is actually right on my business card and right here. And so they can contact me. If it's 3 in the morning, they might have a little trouble getting a hold of me, but they could call and leave a message or text if they really needed to.
Awesome, Kris. Really appreciate that. And finally, they're on the home stretch. The day of closing has arrived. Now, closing with you at Nicolet National Bank, what can someone typically expect on closing day, and as far as on-time closings are concerned?
Sure. So closing on time, you know, we get that set up as soon as we can in regards to making sure that it goes through underwriting, processing, there's no issues once we get to the closing date. Another part of that scenario is funding. So kind of like we talked about in the previous episode, if they are going through a lender that might be out of this time zone, they could have issues with that a late, say, afternoon closing where that company has already gone home and now they're having trouble getting the keys to the house and everybody moving forward. We don't have that issue here. So if it's an early morning closing, we fund the previous day. If it's in the afternoon, we fund in the morning. So you're not going to have that issue at Nicolet National Bank.
Well, that certainly is peace of mind, let me tell you. I might not be the first to say that spending Friday night for an extra hour and a half when you can't get a hold of those people on the East Coast is not something that is very fun. Well, Kris, we really appreciate you being here today.
Absolutely.
Thank you for the time and joining us for our Tour of Lenders series. It's truly been an honor. And once again, everyone, Kris Peterson with Nicolet National Bank. All his contact information is available below, and so you can reach him by phone or by email. And as he mentioned already, he's not just an 8 to 5 guy. You can reach him after hours on weekdays or weekends, but don't disturb his sleep at 3 a.m. in the morning. So, and if you haven't already, be sure to like and subscribe to this YouTube channel, as we look forward to coming up with you with many more episodes. Thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope you have a fantastic day.